Hi, my name is Hannah, and today I will be discussing the difference between dramatizing a story and a fantasy. We learned about this in Chapter 18, the Symbolic Convergence Theory chapter, and it was Module 8. So, whenever you're dramatizing a story, it's basically just a lot of different people's inputs into the story. So, like, if you were all out doing something, you say something and then somebody goes off of that and then somebody goes off of that, and it's just making the story more like unrealistic and crazy the longer it goes. And then a fantasy is something that hasn't happened and something that you've like completely thought up in your head about a certain situation or scenario. So one example of dramatizing a story is whenever I have a big group of friends here at school, and we were all at the pool one day and something happened, and after it happened we all were like walking back to our house, and everybody continued to like add on to the story. And so like one person was discussing how something had happened, and then I added something on, and then my friend added something on, and then somebody else added something on. And by the end of the story, it didn't even sound like really what had really happened. It was just like crazy, and it was so misconstrued. And then nobody could like make what was real and what was fake at the end of it. And then an example of someone thinking of like a fantasy is that same group of friends that I have. We all really want to like, once we graduate, we all hope to like travel together and live like near each other. And like the ongoing joke that you could see as a fantasy is we want to buy like a lot of land and then just build a giant house on it, and then all of our families live together. So like if you're married and have kids, like every single one of us would have our families and our kids living in the same house. Even though that we know that that probably would never happen, it's just like one of our big dreams, and we always talk about it and make stories about certain situations that would happen in the house, and stuff. And it's it's crazy, but it like kind of keeps us going and like trying to make us pursue our goals and dreams, because we know that we would never actually live together. But being able to travel with our families together and maybe live near each other and stuff, that would be really fun. So, in conclusion, the difference between a dramatization and a fantasy is actually really simple. Like, a dramatization is going above and beyond, or not even above and beyond, but just like taking a story and making it crazier and crazier and crazier the more it's talked about. Think about like a fight. If somebody's in a fight, then somebody else who might not even been on that side, like near it, will say that they saw it, and then they'll start talking about it and telling all of their friends, and then and then their friends will start telling people, and so it's kind of the more and more people that talk about it, the more dramatic it becomes and the crazier the story gets. And so that's what like a dramatization of a story is. And then a fantasy is literally just somebody or a group of people wanting or thinking something that hasn't happened. And so, like I said earlier, my friends and I really want to live in a big giant house together. And although we know that might not ever happen, it's keeping us going to hopefully we can all be friends in the future, and like continue to get our degrees and stuff, so then we can afford to travel and stuff. A quote that I'm going to leave this video off with is, "We tell ourselves stories in order to live," by Joan Didion. I really liked this quote because it pertains to both of these theories. We tell ourselves stories sometimes and we dramatize them to make maybe like a bad situation or even a good situation seem better than it really was, or worse than it really was. And if it's a good situation and you're making it like a little bit more dramatic for yourself, then you are happier with the outcome. And then telling ourselves stories about like our fantasies and our futures and stuff, that also helps push you to be like to live more and to just have more excitement about what the future can bring, and it helps you realize what your goals are and stuff. And so I think that's a really cool quote that ties into both of these things. And I hope that you enjoyed this video.